Do you get into storytelling as well, or no? Do you walk through that with the prospective customer?
Yeah, storytelling. Um, Gee, that could be a whole episode, Robin. People are naturally attracted to stories. Data can support the stories,
Hmm.
but it's just the natural way that we communicate. And there's a way to tell a good story, and there's a way to tell a bad story. And there's all sorts of stories that need to be told. And so I would say the four stories, if you're looking at, what story should I tell as a business? Um, Probably the first one you should lead with is either the client story or the transformation story, because that shows what's going to happen when you work with this organization. And so the transformation story is, what is the before and after? Um, and that could be sort of a combination of a lot of different clients, but this is your process on what you do. The client story is what you would think it would be. It'd be a testimonial. The next one that gives you really insight into the brand is the purpose story. Why do you do what you do? If it's not about the money, what is it about, right? And then the last one is the founder story, which is a little different than the purpose story, because the founder, people want to know who started this, what's the history of the business, why did it come into existence. And so those are the four stories that we would typically start with. But then there's opportunities for storytelling at each one of those stages. So yeah, I would say storytelling is a huge thing that many companies are struggling on how to get that right.
That's right. That's right. And I did a podcast. I haven't published it yet, with a lady out of Cape Town, South Africa, a
Mm.
couple of days ago, I think it was. And it was completely on storytelling and the approach to develop and train various companies on how to use stories in their pitches, in the way they communicate to the outside. It's pretty fascinating. There is a science behind storytelling.
Oh yeah.
It is not, like, those stories that you heard when you were little kids, and people used to tell stories to each other, grandpa, grandma, etc. That is a lot more purposeful. You have to think about it. You have to outline it in a very deterministic way, because you're shooting for an outcome, whatever that story is that you're trying to formulate. That's my limited understanding on the topic, is that you have to formulate it accordingly in the four categories that you've outlined. Jimmy, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. There's actually, oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Jimmy.
Well, I was
Go
just going
ahead.
to say the other thing that happens in storytelling is called neural bonding, where if I'm telling you a story, Robin, and they hook us up to a brain scan machine, how my brain lights up telling that story is exactly the same way your brain lights up hearing that
Yep.
story. And so it creates a connection that's not possible through data that you're going to give somebody.